Hi, I'm Rick Cutter, and thank you for joining us at the Digital Cloud Summit. Today, I'm with Joe Gomes, CEO of Powerplan. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Rick, how are you?
Man, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being with us and being a partner with Cloud for Utilities this year.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, our pleasure. So let's just jump into it. Tell us a little bit on a personal note about what you and your family are doing for fun these days.
So we're a pretty active family. My wife and I have three kids, 14-year-old, 12-year-old, and a 9-year-old. We're busy. Lots of kids sports. I think we had 8 soccer games between the three kids this past weekend. So that's pretty much all we did. But big outdoors family as well. Love fishing with the kids. We do kayaking. We like to ski. I'd say the one, if there's a silver lining through this last year, it was the return of family game night. So we have some pretty competitive games of Monopoly that break out. And the last one, I knew I was in trouble when my 9-year-old passed a note under the table to my 12-year-old trying to consolidate their two enterprises to take out dad, which I knew I was in trouble when there was sort of a hostile play there from my 9-year-old. But that's what we do for fun.
It sounds like a business dynamo. Chip off the old block there. Already want to take it.
She is going to be trouble. Yes.
Well, it's funny you say that because right after we got shut down here in Los Angeles, I'm walking around the neighborhood. We're masked up. We're double masked up. It seems like at times throughout this crazy year and a half now. And I remember seeing a husband and a wife and 2 kids biking. And it felt like that return to family values and spending time together. It was just kind of an interesting kind of aha moment for me. So I understand. It sounds good.
And it's been, of all the challenges of the past year, it's certainly been the highlight.
I agree. Tell us a little bit about, kind of what you're known at Powerplan and love to hear more about the firm.
Sure. So just, personally, I think I've been at Powerplan, it'll be 3 years this October. And I think my team would tell you is I ask a lot of questions. And I think the questions are really just the vehicle to get to what I really care about, which is the listening, right? And listening to our employees, listening to our customers. On a customer side, we do that both formally and informally from, formal surveys we send. But I really have made it an emphasis just to open up dialogue with as many customers as possible, engage directly, just to understand how the experience is going, what we can improve upon, what are the problems that we can solve, not just today, but frankly, tomorrow, as you know how rapidly the industry is evolving. And then I think for our employees as well, we try to be really dialed in terms of engagement and what we're doing. And so, we've really amped up our communication in this past year, but I think it really goes back to just, if you really want to act, I think you have to listen first. And so we just make that a big emphasis too in everything that we do, whether it's product development and engaging with our customers and listening to how you make those products better, to everything to one-on-ones or employee breakfasts, which we've been doing virtually this year. It really goes back to just trying to be great listeners so that we can take that and act on it.
That's a cool idea. Virtual breakfast with your team. That's pretty slick. I like that.
We call it 8 at 8s.
Although, that's good. I might copy that.
Yeah, it's a little tougher for the West Coast crew though.
Oh, I bet it'd be 8 at 5, but
it's the 8 at 5. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell me more about Powerplan and kind of what makes you guys a leader in the industry. I mean, I hear vertical market focused apps for the utility space, and Powerplan's always discussed.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, I think you nailed it. Our solutions are really purpose built to solve the problems that are unique, to the utility industry. The industry is unique. The company is 26 years old, and the mission at the time that it was founded really focused on utilities, remains as it is today. And it's really, how do we solve the most complex financial challenges for the office of the CFO? So if you really think about those core functions around accounting, tax, financial planning and analysis, we also have a regulatory suite with a regulatory ledger that just, kind of gives you a single source of truth for your regulatory data. So it's really across the spectrum of the office of the CFO. And, the value proposition has always been in the granularity of the data that you can achieve with Powerplan, especially when you're talking about, regulated companies and regulatory assets. And so if you think about everything from the creation to the retirement of that, it's the tracking, it's the managing, It's optimizing that data, everything from taking those, project costs and moving them into units of property. It's unitizing those assets. It's depreciation studies. It's all those things that go into a really complex process that our customers, that's the world they live in. They know it very well. And I think that's what's really enabled us to, over the last 26 years, we now partner with 90% of the investor-owned utilities in the US have one or more of our products. And we actually did this math last year. It's over 2.5 trillion of assets go through software. And so, when you think about just the enormity of that number and the complexity of our customers' businesses, it's really, our singular focus on this market and really our expertise that enables us to really try to simplify that as best we can and remain a leader in the space. So it's our saying is we like to simplify the complex. I don't know that you can ever fully simplify, utility accounting and tax and planning, but that's certainly what we aim to do and have helped and partnered with a lot of customers along the way.
Well, that makes perfect sense. And on another matter, I understand Powerplan has a new product. Can you tell us about the new product?
Sure. So actually, we've launched two new cloud-based products
Wow.
at the beginning of the year. One is focused on the municipal and cooperative market, it's a cloud-based version of our fixed asset accounting suite, specifically tailored to the municipal and cooperative utility market. The second product is what we call workflow and process automation. So that's a new tool that enables our existing users to really leverage automation to really make complex processes a lot more efficient. So on the first product, I mentioned we have 90% partner rate with the investor-owned utilities. That number is about 10% in the municipal and cooperative market. And so this is an area where we haven't really, launched a lot of new products, but that's a market that we really are excited about. And it was really around, answering a couple specific problems for them. It's, they have some of the same problems as the much larger IOUs. It's, difficulty in getting assets on and off the books quickly and efficiently. It's, data that's scattered in numerous systems that they're trying to track, and how information flows from accounting into operations, or I should say operations into accounting, back and forth. And so that doesn't always align very well. And so the product we brought to market was, how do we bring something that, is more of a streamlined implementation, lower cost of ownership through the cloud, maintains that data integrity and granularity that our IOU customers and specifically tailored to that market. And so that we're excited about that. We launched that one at the beginning of January. And then just this month, we launched our automation tool. So workflow and process automation. That's for, if you have the existing product, you can layer this on top. And what's great about it, and our customers through our beta process really raved about this, it's a very slick user interface where, let's take something like month-end close. A user can visualize, design, actually build out, process flow with the squares and the diamonds. And so you can design, what processes do I want to automate and kick off everything, and send out alerts along the way, notifications to different users that says, this is completed, we're on this next step. And so, where someone might have been spending hours and hours, trying to close out books, we've automated that process. And at the same time, we've been able to put transparency, certainly from an audit trail perspective. So if you think about audit risk, the transparency of all the steps, the processes, the data as it goes through this, being able to automate that from start to finish is a really exciting product. And we had some really rave reviews coming out of our beta program in Q1. And so launched that this week. That's also a cloud product. We offer that as a SaaS product. So a lot going on in the innovation department. We're keeping the marketing team busy for sure.
Well, I'll make sure I come by your virtual booth and take a look at that product. I'm excited to see more about that.
Good. Please do.
What's something in the utilities industry that you're most excited about?
Yeah, so I think that it has to be the biggest one. It's the transition to renewable energy. You'll probably get that comment from anybody that you talk to. I think someday far off in the future, when historians are looking back at the 21st century, and I think this transition to renewables really will be one of, if not the greatest achievement, right? If you think about what's going to happen over the course of the next 80 years, impacts not just on the planet, but from society perspective, from an economic perspective. So just a huge effort, and I think will be an incredible achievement. And if you look at the goals that our customers have set around emission reductions for the next 30 years, I mean, the amount of capital that's going to be deployed in meeting those goals, it's staggering. I mean, it's in the trillions. And so, what we talk to our employees about is we're excited to play our small part in that transition, in helping, all the financial planning and the complexities that are going to go into transitioning this over many, many years. Our goal is to be right there alongside our customers as they do that. And so I think it gives us a sense of purpose and mission. There's a lot of change that's coming. I think going back to our singular focus on utilities helps us be very nimble with that, and be able to anticipate and put the right investment behind the products and services that help our customers navigate this transition. But I'm proud to say, and I know I tell my kids, I'm proud to say that we're going to help play a part in that. But it's going to really transform so much of what we see today.
I think a lot of companies say they're utilities focused, but you guys really are. So that's interesting to hear. Tell me a little bit more about sort of the bigger strategy there at Powerplan.
Sure. So, I'm a big believer, when I talk to our company about strategy, it's not so much just what you choose to do, it's what you choose not to do, And so, to your point around being single threaded, Powerplan over the years, at times had grown to beyond utilities, beyond oil and gas, into some other asset intensive industries. And I think, when we made a strategic decision about 18 months ago to really pivot back to energy, really with the core being utilities, simply because we wanted to answer the question, what do we think we can be the absolute best in the world at? And how do we truly think we can leverage and differentiate ourselves? And so, and frankly, I think to be the best at something, you have to just be hyper focused. And so, we exited some international markets. We exited industry verticals that weren't energy, and, really made a focused play to a true vertical play. And I think, where we compete from that strategic perspective, it's on focus, it's on customer intimacy, it's understanding and anticipating problems. And so, that is who we are. We're office of the CFO. We're solving complex financial problems. We're dedicated to utilities. And so that's really a pivot from, maybe where the company was 2 years ago. And I think the feedback thus far has been very positive for our customers who are excited that, Powerplan's back to, where it used to be in terms of that singular focus.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So if there's anything our audience should take away, or you'd want them to take away about your company, Powerplan, what would you want that to be?
Well, I think specific to this conference and, cloud for utilities, I think it's, when we talked about the cloud transition with our customers, there's really three things we talk about. Number one, we envision this to be a long journey. We don't see this isn't going to happen overnight. And I'm sure you talk to customers about this all the time. You have customers on every different phases of this journey. Some are already there. Some are talking about starting in 3 to 5 years. Everybody's across the spectrum. And so we know we're going to live in two worlds for some time. We have a legacy product that's primarily on-prem. We're launching new products that are cloud-based. We're telling our customers, your investment will be supported, and we're going to, we know this is going to be a two-world approach for quite some time. Our philosophy around our next gen products really is that our next generation products have to be better than what they're using today, right? Because we want to give somebody an incentive to adopt the new technology. And so from a product perspective, that's the real bar that we've set from our product teams. Not that we think it's better. Our customers, and in that feedback discussions and all the testing and the prototyping, they have to believe that it's better as well. And I think the last piece that we talk about is the transition will happen, but it'll happen on their timeline, not on ours. And so we firmly believe, we'll go at the pace of our customers. And frankly, each customer is going to be unique. We're one part of the IT ecosystem. And so each of our customers is going to have a different idea as to what speed means to them. And so, we're not going to force it in the way that I've seen, some other software companies, frankly, force things. We want it to be on our customers' timeline. And so it's really around, living in two worlds for a long period of time, having a better product for the next generation and doing it on their timeline. And I think when we talk about Powerplan in the cloud, that's really the key message that we want our customers to take away.
It's fantastic. Obviously, I like that. I'm a little biased towards this cloud thing.
Absolutely. We are too. But
Excellent. Joe, I really appreciate, you and Powerplan being a partner, and hopefully have a longer relationship with you guys going forward. We're in this for the long haul. And I really look forward to learning more about Powerplan at the summit. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Rick.
Our pleasure.